106 abroad, this time chartering our own boat to dive the Red Sea. An ambitious plan because it takes about a year to get the divers and then head out. So here we are, after a long and exhausting journey, trying to make Stella beer reach the parts that not even Heineken work. As far as Manfred's concerned, yup, it's really reached the parts. This is downtown Nama Bay at peak hour. Immediately we had a slight technical hitch. The bus had broken down, but the 106 experts were there in great numbers. They took the bus apart, took the driver apart. And the result, after toing and froing for about half an hour, we still ended up having to get taxis to take us down to the harbour. So here's Bob inside, driver's been thrown out, John in charge at the back of the bus. So between them, they really made it work. Robo was the expert. He had to do the tumming and froing. Eventually, this is us in Chamelshake Harbour, looking to see what boat we would like for the trip. Some of us knew the Jenny, some of us didn't, so it was great fun watching them say, "Is that it? How about that one? That one's big enough." Now how it is, oh God, what a state. Yup, I'm afraid that's the Lady Jenny. She's a marvellous old boat, full of character, but don't worry about the appearance. She's very seagoing and makes an excellent dive boat. We call her a character boat. As ever, 106 plans, having got on the boat, was how to take it over and organise the trip. So, takeover plans were beginning to be hatched. Father Joe, our new chaplain, writing orders down below. The word starts to be being passed round, while unknown to what's happening, the captain looks after his bridge. Back of the boat, everyone moving into position for the takeover. Then we needed a diversion, so Liz volunteered to do a strip at the back of the boat to keep everyone's attention. On the bridge, this prepared to seize the bridge.
Now, we're down the ship. We're now being going down straight to Gibraltar. I'd like to bring up the ropes and tie this man up immediately in the chair.
So this was it. John Atherton is now taking command of the bridge, and the mutineers have moved into all the positions and planning how to run the rest of the trip. Will we go north? Will we go south? The ladies are only worried about, well, what will be for tea? Down below, the real serious planning starts to take place. This is our guru, this is Reg Bell, and the inner game of diving. Reg does his dive planning very deep. Now we're in trouble. Captain Robo's at the wheel.
Pirates at 12 o'clock, I think.
There's a bloody pirate steering this boat. I'm at 12 o'clock.
Mike Archer, the captain, was a good sport about this. He he more or less realised that 106 would
You're not making enough steam.
rumble around all week, so we all got on very well from day one. She's a good boat and a good crew, but at last we managed to go diving. You'll see a variety of suits. We had dry suits, semi-dries, we had wet suits, you name it, we wore it. Seas were calm and straight down and whang, straight into a nice big blue triggerfish. This is a blue trigger guarding a nest and a small moray. This is different from the usual moray, quite pretty, quite small. And a puffer. Puffers are great things, they chug around, they always seem to be busy going somewhere. No idea where, but they seem terribly busy. Here's another puffer. Oh no, it's John. Where's John looking for? Here's Rosie following him along. Rosie was a real star. She'd come from non-swimmer to diver in a matter of weeks. So it says a lot for BZAC training. This is a surgeon fish. They get called surgeons because they've got little scalpel fins at the back. So here we're going along, the Emperor chasing an Empress, and it was quite a mating time for fish at this time in the Red Sea. There was lots of pairs could be seen. If you keep your eye, you'll see the various different types of fish mingled together. These are potato or spotted cod. So this is the male and female. Your competition is to watch out which is the male and which is the female. Oh, yep, that's the female moving on. She's saying, yep, I've got a headache, but he still follows her around. These are commonly in Australia called potato cod and grow to a bigger size. They're night hunters and quite savage. And there's your surgeon coming up to see what's happening. So he tries again. No, still rejected. Now this mating thing's starting to get quite effective. So here's Reg and Jeanette. Jeanette waggles her nice yellow fins and Reg circles. Well, no joy. So here we're off back down into the body of the wreck. This was a nice wreck, nice out in the open, and Robo, we've taken the wheel off him, so he's decided to go diving. Slid onto a very large moray eel. Colour's not so good because he was concealed in a hole. Morays are good fun. They look fiercer than they really are. This is a very pretty fish. This is the yellow bar angel fish. Quite a different colour from anything else you'll see. Little piggy face, but not too worried about divers, so you can manage to get fairly close to a yellow bar angel. I mean, he's a good photographer's target. This guy here is a fire lion. He's quite ferocious, so very much looky, don't touchy. If you touch any of those spines, your arm will come up about 3 times its normal size within an hour, so you don't get near them. Big-eyed or the red-mouthed grouper, very tasty if you manage to hook him, but at night he's a feeder and very aggressive. This is the joy of the Red Sea. Look at the visibility, the colour, the life. Not quite the Goodwin Sands. So back to base. This is the Jenny as you see it coming out of the water. The rust is not so apparent then. Sorry with the tape here, there was a bit of a squiggle get into the tape, but we felt we should see this one anyway, because this is social time when all 18 divers managed to get together and managed to eat at the one time, which is a lot of fun. The food was excellent. We had a good cook on this trip called Darren, and I've been on the Lady Jenny many a time, but I thought the food on this trip was really excellent. Plenty of it, plenty of variety, and certainly well appreciated by 106. This is the second saloon, a little bit more select I think, a little bit quieter. Chap in the middle in the blue shirt, that's Father Joe, that's our new chaplain. It was Father Joe and Father Bob, who were 2 Roman Catholic priests from Texas, who joined us by chance and became very firm favourites of 106, and we hope to see more of them in the future. After dinner, time for the card sharps to warm up. There was bridge at one end, and I think poker being played at the other end. Most nights we managed to go night diving, so here's Rob Fass leading the team. Night diving's a real must for the enthusiastic on a Red Sea trip. Everything changes, different fish come out or adopt different attitudes. Later on you'll see grouper which during the day seems so lazy, but at night they're hunters. So when you can, you go night diving. This was into a wreck, and we had very calm weather, so we were able to tie on to the wreck and descend down. So this is a tiger grouper. You'll see the mouth of teeth this guy's got. He'll snap a fusilier completely in two with this mouth of teeth. So here we're trying to encourage him to come a little bit up front to the cameras. No problem from a diver's point of view, but he'll certainly take any other fish nearby. Now here's a light coming in from astern. This is Father Joe. So Father Joe showing the light to fish. You can see why they're called tiger grouper. They've got fairly clear, distinct spots. They hunt wrecks at night because they can get into it. So now his eyesight won't be so good with the light in his eyes. They can move so swiftly when they go for the kill. This is another one I'd been hunting. He'd already caught a fusilier fish, so that fusilier had been snapped completely in two by the grouper. These are attractive fish to see day and or night. You've got trumpet and you've got cornet fish. They're like helicopters with their little fins going all the time. Another good angle you can do if you get these. Here's Joe coming up behind with his lamp, so you get this sort of X-ray effect. This is a pluribranch, the nudibranc's big brother. These chaps crawl up and down the coral or up the side of a wreck. You've got to take care because the underside is in fact covered in a rather heavy acid solution. Joe here has quite a nice thick glove on, but even at that, he gets a bit of a niche afterwards. Sleeping parrotfish. Usually they're cocooned. What's this chap? This is a real pretty guy. This is a sailfish. The male's in front, and he has a female behind him, and he'll come out and sort of posture in front to protect his partner. They're really lovely fish. By now 106 we're becoming quite familiar with the night dives and the Red Sea. We're really enjoying it. So here we are, after a heavy night's diving. What better than just to lie around on the deck all day. Egyptian PT 106, dive, eat, sleep, dive, eat, sleep, day after day. Oh boy, what a life. We were very lucky. We'd adverse weather before we got there. It was the week after Easter, and we got a window of one good weather and good visibility. Some of the calmest weather we've encountered in that part of the Red Sea at that time of the year. So everyone enjoyed it to the full. And for a bit of entertainment, up came the dolphins. Pods and shoals of wild dolphin closing in on the boat. What happens is that they're attracted either by the sound of the boat's engine or the inflatable engine and come in close. Now you can get out and snorkel with them, but in fact very difficult to dive because the noise of bubbles and things chases them off, but a snorkeler doesn't have a problem. So when they come in, we head into the inflatables and go off to play with the dolphins. They're beautiful creatures. Big thing with dolphin is that they're air breathers. Everyone's getting in on the act. That was Wendy, the hostess, telling Hugo to get his camera down flat. It's only when you see dolphins in their own habitat that you really can enjoy them. So here we are, there you are, dolphin, diver, then dolphin again. As we were snorkeling, you could watch them coming under you, around you. It's very seldom they'll come up with divers, now and again, but only if you're very lucky. So this is Dolphin Portraits, Kira Hugo. So it's a rather nice way to pass your time away between dives, playing with the dolphins. This is a place called Shab Abu Nahas, more commonly referred to as Wreck Point. The reason it's called that is there's something like 7 very, very good wrecks all within the same area. Possibly the most famous or the most popular is called the Carnatic. She's a P&O liner that went down about 1840 and makes great diving. So here we see Rosie absolutely engrossed with the fish, huge balls of glassfish. And here's Maria coming from behind and cruising out through the ribs of the boat. It really is a gorgeous place for divers and particularly for photographers, because these glassfish, semi-transparent, curtains and curtains of them. So back on the inflatable, time to breathe a little, get another tank and get ready to go diving again. Everyone was in high spirits by now because, as we say, the weather was right, the company was good, and here's Robo. He was a great enthusiast and was great fun on the trip. And it was, yep, Manfred's birthday. So Sally bought him a wreck and headed down to see if she could find him a present. In fact, she found between her and Manfred, they recovered a lovely perfumed oil bottle. So here's Sally coming back with the shopping. Halfway up, she meets John, and John was like Fagin here, checking the contents of the pickpockets when they came in. And here's Robo examining his booty. What have you got, Robo? Yeah, these were lovely. These were very, very old beer bottles from places like Bombay and Rangoon. So coming back, the usual fun. Out came the catch. What have we managed to get on the last trip?
We had a lot of those. I really like these ones. And I like them very much.
Yeah, they are. They're the ones on.
They're the ones I really like. And they're really in good condition. Look.
I think we'll ask Sally to tell you a story later as what happened to the one she brought back, but that's a secret, Sally. We'll let you tell the story. Members of the crew and the divers all getting together. More treasure hunters returning. That's what's called a fid, F-I-D, fid. Well, that's used for splicing ropes, and they were very good bits of treasure because they had P&O written in them.
Good time today. Good fight.
Here's the bottles with nice markings on them. Rangoon, Bombay. And as it would be, would you believe, even more dolphins. This was the evening into sunset. And more dolphins appeared, and everyone managed to snorkel with them. Maria got out with the camera and took very, very good close-up shots of them. They follow the noise of the inflatable, and you can zoom around, and that attracts them and brings them back to the boat. You get them quite regularly in this part of the Red Sea, but as I say, this was great luck because we got so many of them. But enough for the surface, it was back down wrecking. There you go, a complete bronze prop. Poor old Bill Windridge was weeping tears that he would have brought that up if he'd had that back in the UK. On deck of these wrecks, there are habitats for fish. We treat it like a reef, an extended reef. So here's Bob Peacock picking a few tiles for General Meadows. So you gaze up, now on breaking the surface. Nice silhouettes. The wrecks go from about 35 metres on up to some of them with bits actually breaking the surface. So great fun, even if you're not a wreck diver. Red Sea wreck diving is so much different because shoals of fish, very, very pretty, covered in lovely soft coral. So here's Maria cruising around. Curtains and curtains of these glass fish. So now we have a little scenario. The first class deck, we all thought Robert Peacock smelt a bit, so we suggested he'd have a bath when he went down. So here he is, full face mask, stretched out in his tub. Yes, that's our Robert. Here comes the chambermaid to do a bit of peeping Tom. But fortunately the glass fish got in the way, so it was modesty all the way for Robert Peacock. This is what it's like. You just cruise through these wrecks. I mean, Maria's no wreck diver, but she thoroughly enjoyed it. And on the decks, here's Fass coming up. I think Fass's problem is that when Robert Peacock had been checking the tiles, some of them may have been chipped over the side and he was the victim of them. But this was the big daddy of all wrecks, the Thistlegorm. Thistlegorm is a World War II class supply boat who took out supplies to supposedly the Desert Army in '43, but she was taken out by German dive bombing just south in the Suez. So she went down with a complete load of, as we say, motorcycles, rifles, you name it, military supplies that never got there. So she's a wreck diver's dream. Every place you turn there's something more fun. So Reg's a bit behind getting down, and as you can see, the rest of the 106 have disappeared into every crevice possible. So here's a marine archaeologist. See how sensitive he is. No, they loved it. It was great fun. Another bit of delicacy here. Yes, can you recognize who that is with these delicate movements? So this is Bob rescuing a few treasures. You'll see the treasures later on when we come back. There was loads of rubber tires that had never ever been on the roads, masses of motorcycles that have never been run at all. So they're all brand new really. BSA, you name it, they had it. Guns, bullets, every bit of possible wreckage. So you've heard the truck lagoon, so I think the Thistlegorm is our equivalent of the truck lagoon. And there was portholes everywhere, so it really was a dream boat. And the decks covered in fish. This wreck had been first seen, I think, at the beginning of the 60s by Cousteau. Then it was lost again until earlier this year. The trouble in the Red Sea really is when you're wreck diving, you tend to stay too long. So you've got to watch your time and get used to decompression. So here's John and Rosie doing a little bit of decompression. Now how about this? 34 meters down, out into the sands, and Robo and I had gone for walkies and we'd found this cycle, so immediately he became a stuntman. Yeah, I like that one. Royal Chorus Signals Display Team, 1993. Just think that poor old cycle has never been on the road, and yet it's now, what, nearly 50-year-old. Divers patrolling the boat. This is Steve, the engineer of the boat. The crew on 106 got on terribly well. This is Darren, the cook. They blended together and it became a very happy dive. There was trucks, there was armoured carriers, you name it. Sand, land, jeeps, not Land Rovers, jeeps in those days. These are the wings of small aeroplane, and there was complete kits for airfields. A mine drone up on top, kept on the deck. There was about 4 or 5 different holds. You could go down, enjoy, come out and go back into the next one. And here's the booty. So here's the the crew and 106 examining their day's captures. Field hospital stuff. No, it was everything there. There's dental kit, there's surgical instruments. So, made a lot of fun. Bob Peacock recovered 2 very, very nice copper sterilizing pots and managed to bring them back, convincing the customs in Egypt that they were in fact his own barbecue pots. Would you believe it? Drugs, penicillin, if it was invented, and then this was a dental kit. How about this? A thermometer, completely intact and working order. Hadn't been seen for about 50 years. I wonder if GH Zeal of London are still in business. So there you are, there's Robert Peacock sterilising pots. And all the bits and pieces laid out in the deck so that everyone can enjoy it. Now here's Maria. We've recovered a couple of rifles, and she decides, a bit of wishful thinking, to really put me in my place. These were Lee Enfield 303s. There was crates and crates of them down there. And for a bit of a change, how about this? Aqua Golf. 106 have patented this, and yep, Maria knew to keep her head still. A wee bit problem with her feet there. Bill Windridge here. Oh, well done, Bill. Moved it a little bit. Yeah, we thought an 18-hole golf course. We could certainly set this up in the Red Sea. How about this one? Bang! Yeah, he got that one. Wonder if he's missing something. Yep. Yeah, that's it, Bill. You've got to look the part, no doubt about that. So, Aqua Golf 1993. A new in. There he goes. Keeps his eye on the ball. Manages to find it. Hat goes down. But he has a better side. Who is this diver? Yep, Liz Peacock, diving officer candidate for 94. She's taken this problem diver. This chap Robert Peacock needed somebody to show him around. So here's Liz taking him for a slight patrol, right up into an enormous shoal of barracuda, would you believe? This is a pretty area. This is called Fisherman's Bank. It's canyons, caves, all sorts of openings. A lovely dive. So here's Robo leading the way through. Followed by Maria, with Hugo taking up the rear. Hope you like the music here. This is by Jape. This is our new composer who we're going to teach to dive one of these days, and he can compose when he's down with us. So here's the crocodile fish. Gotta watch these guys. Don't touch them, because over and over having a snap at you, they're quite poisonous to touch. These are okay, except they've got a sting in their tail. Blue spotted rays. commercial. Japes tapes are available for sale through Sound and Vision in Broadstairs. So anybody that's watching, you know where to get them. So this is it, coming back onto the inflatables after a dive. They weren't the best of boats, but they served the purpose. So here's Liz, happy as a sandgirl with Maria. Really enjoyed her dive. And they have the coming round the point there. This is a nice coral head. Bill Windreach checking it out. It's down quite deep, so hence the blue and the loss of colour. The prettiness is the shoals of glassfish, and this is late in the day, so you're looking up through the crevices in the reef. Red Sea takes a lot of beating. I think we're very lucky that we in the UK, we find it quite convenient to get there. It certainly has become popular with 106. Now Ras Mohammed, possibly one of the world's most well-known parts of the Red Sea. So here's Maria. I just said stroke him under the chin, but I don't think she took me too serious. This turtle, we got down very deep. I had been fairly deep, and this guy was coming up to air because they're air breathers. So I'd been following him up for quite a while, knowing he would be heading for the surface. I'm just going to tell you a little story in a minute. This is what happened when he turned the corner. There was a whole bunch of divers, and they started to rather play with the turtle. That's okay sometimes, but you really not a good idea to impede them if they're trying to go to the surface, because he is an air breather and that's where he was heading. The diver didn't know he was a long time down, but I did. So did the turtle. So yes, in fact, turtles can drown if they're impeded for going up to breathe. I think this Ray was getting out in case somebody jumped in his back. Oh. So anyway, this was enough. The big water buffalo came along. This is the Napoleon wrasse, a ton of fish. Beautiful thing. And this guy looked a bit mystified as to what was going on, because, yep, down below there's something happening. That's Rosie. John had found the current a bit tough for Rosie, so he'd asked her to stay down. Here's Napoleon going down to see is Rosie okay. Then he goes and finds John and brings John back for Rosie. Yeah, they're like big St. Bernards, I suppose. It was great fun, and the divers really enjoyed it, having Napoleons and divers all back to front. We used to feed eggs. At one time that was permitted, but anyway, here we go. This is the farewell party on deck. And it was a celebration time. So there we are, Father Joe and Father Bob. They were great fun. Reg. And the girls. Now they were so glamorous. I mean, honestly, they dived all day. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but they all looked so pretty at night. It was wonderful. I don't think we looked as pretty.
It's only a week ago since we boarded the Lady Jenny with a bit of trepidation. Not because of the Lady Jenny.
A week's trip, and honestly, it seemed like it'd gone for months.
And 106, and that's Father Joe and Father Bob. I hope you all realise the clergy diving with you when you were making the usual Thanet comment.
It was quite unusual for 106 diving with two Roman Catholic priests. That was really the devil in the deep blue sea, but they were smashing guys, and we're sending a copy to Joe and Bob and hoping that one of these days we'll get them over to dive with us in the Goodwin Sands. The crew were great, and they blended so well with 106. So it was a good fun holiday for all. So much so that we're planning to repeat it this year or next year.
Let's do our best to give everyone a good holiday. This charter's gone very nicely. As a crew, we've all been very, very pleased with the way it's gone. We've enjoyed your company, and we all hope to see you all again, or at least most of you.
He was a smashing captain, is Mike Archer, and we certainly will be going back. This was Johnny's birthday, a popular member of the crew. So this was all John Atherton's UK goodies that were given to Johnny to remind him of the UK. No. Robo had given Johnny a hard time all week, so here we are, his own AIDS protection. So then this beautiful birthday cake. Yes, not difficult to see what it's modelled on.
I wonder why Wendy was struggling today.
So Robo had antagonised Johnny, I think, for the last time. So this was the end to a great week's diving, a great week's fun, and certainly we'll be back there again next year. Encountered, and provides a cross-section example of some of the information subsequently obtained and placed on permanent record. Diving commenced early summer, but adverse weather conditions prevailed.